Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer, and you are watching a Dyer-Situation. Today I'm seeing Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. This is a spin-off? Well, not really. It's an adaptation of a book that was in the Harry Potter universe that may or may not be fictional. Like, in-universe fictional. So it's kind of like an inception of Harry Potter universe, I guess. I don't know. From what I can tell, the only reason this movie was made is because the movie studios have kind of given up trying to emulate Harry Potter and the huge success it had, and so are just desperately trying to find ways to make more Harry Potter, even though it's not working out too well. So, yeah, I guess this is their cash cow attempt here. They're trying to bring it back. We'll have a Fantastic Beasts series now, I'm sure. If this movie actually works out. Which it might. It might. You know, a lot of people seem mildly excited for it. I know I'm not entirely apathetic. I think this will be okay. But that's really the extent of it. I have no, like, real thoughts or feelings about it. It's just like, okay, it's based on some sort of idea or some sort of book that's in the Harry Potter universe or something, so more magic and stuff, I guess. Cool. I don't know. To me, the Harry Potter train, like, it left a long time ago. Even a little bit before the Half-Blood Prince, you know, it was... I personally was mostly just watching it on momentum alone. Just, I saw the other ones, I gotta see this one now. And, yeah, it concluded, I was satisfied with the ending, and I have not since then wanted to see more, so, yeah. Yeah, just rank me slightly above apathetic. And that's my whole mood. Let's see it. So here we are. It was okay. If you want to take anything away from this review, it's just the movie was okay. I'm not gonna rank it among the Harry Potter movies because it's... I don't even feel like it, but I don't think it was great. I don't think it was a complete rehash, for sure. It definitely goes into different ideas that we haven't really seen in the Harry Potter universe, but in terms of just a story or of an experience, it's nothing to write home about. So where do I begin? The movie's a little interesting. It's like kind of lore-wise in the fact that this movie takes place in New York. So not in England, it's New York. So we get to see kind of the American side of the witch business, I suppose. And it's set in the 1920s. So it's like a totally different location that we haven't seen before with totally different characters. Unless there was some Easter egg, I don't think they even mention anything to do... Well, they mentioned Dumbledore at one point, and they say Hogwarts once or twice, but, you know, nothing really specific story-wise to the Harry Potter line. And you know, that idea is interesting. But, sadly, the main drama of the movie, the main obstacle, the whole plot, basically, resides and is involved with the most frustrating aspect of the Harry Potter universe. And that is the wizard's interactions with, like, regular humans, muggles, if you will. It makes absolutely no sense. It never has made any sense. Even from the first movie, the fact that, like, hundreds of people probably ram into the same brick wall every day and nobody notices. Like, even there, that's kind of iffy. But what I liked about the original Harry Potter movies is that they kind of just... they show you how it works, they let it happen, and then they move on. Because they seem to understand, and I think J.K. Rowling understood this too, that it doesn't make much sense. So you should really just keep going. And I understand the reason why it works like that too, because the whole idea of this is that there's a hidden world of magic and wizards and cool stuff going on right underneath our noses that we don't see. And, you know, for a kid, that's a pretty cool idea. And it's nice to latch on to, but I don't think even the kid is really that concerned with the specifics of it. And it's kind of a shame that this movie, like, it relies so heavily on that stuff. So, really, so here's the problem. The wizards hide. They're hiding from humans. They have all these laws set up so that humans don't know anything about the magic world, right? And they claim it's something to do with discrimination or human protection, I suppose. And it's really iffy. For one thing, it would make sense, I suppose, if, like... how do I put this, actually? So, they're hiding from humans, but this really is kind of an iffy point, just because the wizards and what they are able to accomplish is so many levels higher from what any human or group of humans or nation of humans can accomplish. Like, one wizard, one, like, decently educated wizard, like, frickin', I don't know, who's the name? A freaking Ron Weasley. How about that? Like, I think, honestly, if he wanted to, he could do a hell of a lot of damage to one human nation if he felt like it, if the other wizards didn't interfere, and if he so chose. Like, it would be that easy. So the idea that they're hiding from them is kind of odd. And so, and I don't know, I'm not sure, maybe the reasoning is that there's a whole lot more humans than wizards, but even then, like, their power levels are so different. It seems more likely that if wizards have been around for as long as humans have, which I think is the case, then most likely it would, like, the whole idea of them hiding or anything wouldn't have even occurred to them. Like, if they just kind of evolve naturally, it seems more like they just be the dominant race, and this is the norm. And that this whole hiding from people thing wouldn't even be an issue. Like, what's a human gonna do? We have guns, and I don't think they have much of a defense against guns, but, like, once they figure out one, which they inevitably will because they have fucking magic, like, they take us over. I mean, to me, I'm wondering why they don't even have slavery. Like, that may sound, like, really dark, but, like, they have house elves, which are basically slaves. Why? It seems weird that wizards don't just rule the world and humans are their slaves. And you see the whole can of worms that's opening up here just by thinking too much about that? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe this is kind of like a mutants thing where they arrived kind of later on, but even then, it seems weird that they'd have some sort of Muggle protection clause set in from that early on enough to where, like, humans don't even know about them anymore. And that's another issue. Well, it's not so much an issue with the lore, it's just with terminology. Here's something I kind of liked, but then fought a lot about, and then didn't like. It's the fact that they go. Well, the first things you notice when they go to this American wizard area is that the wizards refer to non-magic users as no-mage, right? And instead of muggles. So there's muggles and no-mages. So it's kind of cool. It's like, oh, okay, you know, Americans have different terms for stuff that British people do. So yeah, so we'd have our own word for non-magic users. Okay, that kind of makes sense until you think hard about it, and you think hard about how linguistics work, and realize, wait a second, why do they have two different words? Because when you think of, like, British words that are different from American ones, most of the time, it's stuff that was invented after our two cultures kind of separated. Like, flush toilets weren't really popularized until, I think, the late 1700s. Could be wrong about that. So, it seems natural that the rooms encompassing them for indoor plumbing would be referred to differently. So in America it's the restroom, a bathroom, or something like that. And in England it's a loo or a long drop or something like that, you know? And that makes sense. Or what else? A lorry for a small truck, or there's other things, or a membry instead of a memberberry. You know, things that are kind of recent, relatively, have different words because that's when our culture split. But I don't know if they arrive later, wizards arrive later or not. But they've been around for like at least 1,000 years or so, right? Like, well before the U.S. was even discovered by Europeans. So it seems weird to me that they develop different ways of referring to something that's been with them since as long as they've been there. You know, it would be like Americans and British people having their own distinct word for a cat. You know? So deeply embedded that if you went over to England and said, oh, look at that cat, nobody would understand what you're talking about. You know? It doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if there's, like, specific British words for cat, but I'm pretty sure that the most common one over there, just like here, is cat. So it seems, so, you know, there's that whole aspect to it. You know, I appreciate the sense to try and give the Americans their own identity, but in that particular way, it doesn't quite make sense. But anyway, back to the whole thing. It really doesn't add much tension to the idea. Like, the whole tension of the film, the whole main obstacle here is that the humans could find out we exist, because these magical beasts have accidentally been released by Eddie Redmayne's Suitcase. So we gotta find them before humans find out about us. But it doesn't add much tension. Like, they have magical neuralizer spells, like Obliterate or whatever it's called, which does the exact same thing as a neuralizer. It just totally blanks their memory. So, literally, there is no tension. Anything a human sees, ooh, it's gone. Any damage that's caused, whoop, that's gone too. So it's even, like, worse than the Men in Black effect. In Men in Black, they didn't make that big a deal of people, like, finding out about the aliens. It was more the aliens doing something terrible. Because they knew they have the tools to get rid of them. To get rid of people's memories of any, like, events. It's a pain in the ass, but they have the tools. Even, like, in the climax, where some sort of monster is totally destroying the city, there's nothing really making you feel dread or anguish or hell, even excitement about it, because you know all that damage is gonna go away at the end. Everyone's memories is gonna be magicked away. You know, it's not. There's no tension. That's the problem. And even if people did find out, you know nothing's gonna happen. even like disregarding the fact that this movie's a prequel and we know that humans don't know about wizards in the future, even disregarding that, like we still, like it's still totally obvious that the wizards are way, way, way more powerful than the humans. So even if they did find out, nothing much would happen. I mean, this is the 1920s. They don't even have nukes or anything. Like, there's nothing that damaging that the humans could do. There is no tension. That's the main problem. But it's not as bad as I make it out to be, I suppose. Maybe I have it all wrong, and this is supposed to be about the magic creatures and how cool they are, but it seems to me that's kind of treated as a B-plot. Like, to me, the main plot of this film is that somebody from the it's not the Ministry in this, it's the Magic Congress, I don't know, which still acts very British for some reason. I don't know, but whatever. Somebody from the Magic Congress is like doing something nasty with these people who the Second Salem group who want to kill wizards, and he has some evil plan to expose wizards to the world or something. Like, that seems like that's the main plot. And the B plot is Eddie Redmayne accidentally switches suitcases with this dumpy guy, and like a few of his magic creatures get loose from his suitcase. And that's the B plot. Literally, the magical creatures and where to find them aspect of this is the B plot. And it leads to a few mildly entertaining action scenes, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of the main issues there. Just there's nothing really to relate to. It doesn't have that spark, that true sense of wonder, that the Harry Potter films had, or at least the earlier ones. Nor like that sweeping epic storytelling that the later ones had. It's just kind of this, mildly interesting side story with some expanded lore, but not really to any major extent, just like a little. And that's all the movie offers. I'm not sure I can really wholeheartedly recommend it on that. I guess if you're just a really hardcore Harry Potter fan, then you've already seen this movie already, so I don't even need to say anything. And if you're anything less, I'm not sure you'd get much out of it. Like, it does kind of have that feel of the original Harry Potter films, but, like, not to that extent, if that makes any sense. Like, it's not nearly as exciting, it's not nearly as bombastic, it's just, its own kind of thing, really dumbed down. So, yeah, if you're moderate to slightly above average interested in Harry Potter, like, I don't think you get much. I don't think, like, kids even liked it that much either. Like, there was a lot of yawning kids when I was in there. The movie's 2 hours and 17 minutes, that was my other problem. It could have easily been shortened to 90. In fact, when I was watching it, I was thinking of, like, specific points that could have totally been shortened out. For one thing, I'd focus, here's an actual suggestion, just focus more on the magical beasts and trying to find them, and the adventures going on there. Maybe instead of just 3 beasts, there's like a few, and, something else, and and then just shorten everything else, because we don't need to know. That stuff's kind of boring. The magical beasts thing, that's the interesting part. So I'm not sure why they kind of shortened that down to 1 or 2 scenes. It's really kind of a shame. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you're just moderate about it, just maybe rent it on DVD or from Redbox or something. I don't think unless you're a super hardcore fan, there's any need to see this in the theaters. So, yeah. So until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you have been watching a Dyer-Situation.